Hey, today we are looking at how to have faith in God again. And if you've ever lost your faith, you know how important this is to have. How is it we can do some amazing and sometimes unexplainable things, like heal our own bodies by the power of our thought? Mother's intuition, the law of attraction. Can we really tap into our subconscious mind? Can we really create our own realities? It begs the question, are we novice gods? Okay, we're talking today about how to have faith in God again. Now let me ask you if this sounds familiar. Something horrible has probably happened to you or to a family member, somebody that you care about, somebody that you care deeply about, and things did not work out the way you expected. And somehow that has destroyed your faith in God. And you're wondering, how can I ever believe again? How can I ever have faith in God again? And you're not really sure, and I get that. Boy, do I get that. I was totally there. And this is such an important decision for you to make. And yes, it is a decision. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But first I want to explain a little bit about the setting that we're in. I took you here for a reason. This is an aspen grove that looks completely dead. And you may look around and you may think, that's me. You know, I feel completely dead. I have lost my faith in God. I have lost my belief that He's there, that He cares about me. I feel lost in the universe. I don't know who I am. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. And you may feel very much like these aspens. And if you look at them, it looks like they're dead. They're nothing but sticks and twigs and emptiness, right? But if you think about the season that we're in, this is late fall. We just lost all the leaves up here. And so it's going to look like that until spring. I love the song, "You Can Never Hold Back Spring." There's always hope. There's always something going on. So I brought you here for a reason, to show you the aspens and to kind of think about that symbolism. The other part of the aspens that I think is so symbolic that hopefully will help you grow your faith is the fact that aspen trees do not exist alone. Aspen trees exist in a grove. They are actually all connected through this root system, and they help each other out. And so, you know, if you're thinking about your faith and you're worried about where you're at and you're frustrated and you're angry, just remember there are other people that have been there before. People who understand and people that you can listen to and trust. And hopefully I'm one of them, because I certainly have experienced some things that have shaken my faith in God to the core. For so many years, I was angry and frustrated. I was praying and praying and praying for this thing that I wanted to have happen in my life, and I knew it was a good thing, and I knew it was important, and nothing came, and I didn't have any answers, and I couldn't get a connection to God. I couldn't get answers or even a feeling that He was there and that He knew about me and knew my situation. And the more I focused on this, the more angry and frustrated and alone I felt. The more I sunk down and spiraled down, really, into this rabbit hole of darkness and frustration. So I've been there. I totally understand what you're feeling. Although your experience may be totally different. Maybe you lost a loved one. Maybe the circumstances were so horrific that you think, how can God even be there? How can He watch this and not do something, not jump in and intervene, because He's got the right, He's got power, right? Why did He not jump in? And when we start asking these why questions, it doesn't serve us well. And so I spent a long time spiraling down asking those why questions. So what I present to you on how to, yes, once again, have faith in God, once again believe, just know that these are things that I have found through experience. And the belief side is the much happier, much more constructive, much more helpful way to go. So anyway, let's talk about that. First of all, two things. The first thing that you must remember is that faith is a choice. You know, as you are thinking about your frustrations and your anger and anyway, I'm just thinking how I just know what you're thinking. I mean, what you're feeling, because having been through that for so many years. But as you're thinking about those feelings, what happened was he didn't respond the way you expected. You expected a certain thing, and it didn't happen that way. And so you ask the question, why? Well, what if instead of asking the question why, you ask the question what? What if instead of not understanding his decisions and for not getting involved, and instead start with a little bit of faith? And that's kind of the key. That's, you know, they say prime the pump, which means that you get a little bit of water in the pump, and that helps lubricate things so that you can get more water out. But if you can start with a belief that God is there and that he is all-powerful and that he loves you, if you start with that, then instead of asking why, you can change it and say, what? What am I supposed to learn from this horrific experience? What am I supposed to gain from these challenges I'm going through? What is, you know, what will help me? How is this, maybe ask how is this going to help me become more my true self? What is the big plan that you have for me in my life? If you start to approach it that from already a feeling of a little bit of just kind of a seed of faith, you know, just enough to hope and believe that that it's true. If you can start from that and just kind of nourish it and let it grow, and start asking questions that'll be a little bit more helpful. What am I to learn from this? If you take your belief from this idea that God has this amazing training ground for us, and we are all his children, and he loves us, and he wants us to be more like him. He wants us to have all of his powers and his abilities and his blessings and his riches. If you start with that and believe, what am I to learn from this? What do you have planned for me? What greater outcome can come from this thing that just seems hopeless and dark and like there could be no great, wonderful outcome? Anyway, if you start with that, that can help you begin to nourish your faith. Anyway, just that's a place to start. The next thing is to look at faith as a skill. And if you watch one of my other episodes, I talk a little bit about happiness. Happiness is not, was it? Happiness is not a choice. Well, it is a choice, but first of all, it's a skill. You can check that episode out. But if you look at faith the same way, you can actually develop faith like a skill. Repetition and consistency are the things that are going to get you where you want to go. I'm just going to turn this down. Now take time to get really conscious, really aware of what's really going on. You know, again, thinking about these aspen trees. We can think, oh, they're dead, and we can cut them down and chop them up and burn them, as firewood. But if we recognize that they're still alive, there's still life in there, it's just dormant, we need to nourish it, it needs to be the right season. These things will help us to kind of help bring our faith back. Now, one other thing that I really want to point out is that faith is a choice. You know, we talked just a little bit about that, but as you become more conscious, more aware of what's really going on, if we really are novice gods, if we really are his children and he cares about us and hasn't abandoned us, then therefore he has a master plan for us, right? And if we can have just that much faith in him, that he does have a plan and that things are going according to plan, then it kind of opens up a few more possibilities for us. So then faith becomes a choice. And one of the things you can look at is, what does it serve me to believe that God hates me? How does it serve me to think that God is punishing me? How does it serve me to think that God does not exist? Or that God started this and abandoned it, gave up hope, or got the wheels in motion and then died. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different beliefs that you can have there, but you got to realize you have the opportunity to choose. Choose your beliefs. And just start asking questions. What if? What if? And turn it around. What if God really is there? What if he really loves me? What if he really cares about me? What if he really does have a master plan? Those are the things that helped me. Because when I was going through the super hard times in my life, and I was so angry and frustrated, and my life was falling apart, I started to really doubt my faith. And I was letting it go, and I was getting more angry and more frustrated. And I realized that not believing in him was not serving me. And maybe it's true that God isn't really there. Okay, fine. That is definitely a possibility. But I got to tell you, once I started to believe that God was there, that he loved me, that he cared about me, that he has this plan for me, once I started to believe those things, more things started to come into my life where I could believe in greater things, that I could believe that these coincidences that were happening weren't just mere coincidences, but were actually his hand involved in my life. And as I started to pay more attention, I saw it more. So I just want to share with you, I know that it's hard to get faith back. I know that it's difficult to have lost those beliefs. I know that it is challenging, but it is absolutely possible for you to rebuild that faith. You can check out some of my other episodes in this. I know that I talk about how to build faith in God, how to build a relationship with God. Some of those things will give you clues and ideas on how you can use repetition and consistency to make faith like a skill, and you can grow that. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you, it is absolutely possible for you. It makes a world of difference when you believe. Because what you believe truly matters. It changes your life. What you believe manifests and becomes reality. I happen to know that God does live. He does exist. He does care about me. Even though his way of going about things is maybe different than I would have chosen, I have come to trust him and to find great hope that he's there. I hope you can too. I hope these ideas and suggestions will help you out. If you have questions, if you have comments, add them in the comments below. I do read those, and I would love to do a show, an episode that is specific for you to help you out with where you're at. So just kind of chime in on the community. But thank you very much, and we'll see you again on another episode of Are We Novice Gods? I hope this stirred some questions in your soul. Are you more connected to higher power than you think? Do you have divine DNA? Let's keep asking questions. Click on my face to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode.